Hello, everyone. I am Oleksandra Dmytrenko, and today I will tell you about how BB-8 works, how to play it with the kids. Here is my little BB-8. And a little bit about myself. I'm a Java developer. I work at Palm Systems, and also, besides work, I train young generation of Java developers. I also train my dog and my nephews to program and my dog to follow the commands. I have no husband because probably no man wants to be trained. And I also like traveling, dancing, skiing, and lots of other activities. And today we will talk about how you should work with the kids, how you're supposed to organize a lesson, how to make the lesson special so that kids will remember it, how to work with every age of the kids, and we also will do some practice on that. I will expect help from you. And in the end, I will show you what you can do with the kids if you don't have a special BB-8 robot or Lego Mindstorm or anything, how you can teach your kids to program just by having simple computer. All the kids are different. We all know that, all people are different, and we cannot set specific measurements what kid is supposed to be in which age. Still, there are some general rules. The quality of the kid depends on its genetic abilities. You cannot go over it. It's about the neurons, how fast they react, how fast they contract and can transport the information. How much time an adult would spend with his kid by speaking, in dialogue, by playing. It's very important that kid will communicate with a person, not just listen to the videos or audio. And also the illnesses, amount of stress and food will influence the quality of the kid's brain. And all the stuff which we've been just talking about, it influences until 7 years mainly. And after kid is 8, his mind is already formed. And so from this age, you can start training your kid to do some special activities. He will be able to concentrate for a long time, and this will help you to put something in his mind. And before starting anything, generally we would prefer to put a goal in front of us to know what we are leading to. Because when we don't have a goal, we will just be doing something, we will be in the process. So the goal which you should put before start working with kid, you have to realize that you won't give him more knowledge than simple school would do. You want to probably show him the future profession. Once it happened to me that a kid who wanted to go to start programming, he was 13, he came to me as to a future teacher and asked if it is not too old for he is not told to start programming, because his friends started programming before they were 12. And so it was very funny to me to hear that kid is concerned about his future profession and how he will manage it. So we also want to show a kid another hobby, because generally what kids would do when they come from school and when they are done with their lessons is to play computer games. It is not exactly what we want them to do. Some computer games, some active games is good, but when kid will invest by playing in these games, it will invest in himself, it will really be good. So the method to achieve these goals would be to make a special lesson, some lesson which will be memorable and which kid will be willing to share with his friends, to come to the lesson with the completed homework and will ask how to develop his abilities better. And now I will tell you some rules about how to make a lesson memorable and special. Let's imagine there is a class and the teacher. It's the first time they meet. And the teacher comes and says, "Good morning, children." "Good morning, teacher," kids will say. Teacher will continue. "My name is Oleksandra Dmytrenko. I will name you by the list which I have, and that's how we will get to know each other." That's very standard thing. Many children would just listen to it and will boringly say their names when they are called. But when the teacher would come and say, "Hello, friends," or "Hello, colleagues," kids will get inspired already by hearing that they are called friends, not children, not kids, not anything. And they will happily answer hello. And I would say that I am Sandra the Witty. What are your names? What are the qualities of yours? And who are you? What do you look like? And when these questions will be put to the kids, they will start thinking, what is the quality which I would like to assign to my name? What this quality in future might become a nickname for this kid. And so kid will get inspired. He will remember my name, he will remember the lesson, and he will realize that he did something special. He came up with his new name. And the second point, what makes the lesson special, which makes it better, is when you behave like a kid. Generally, what we would, the people who would we like to be our friends are those who are like us, because we trust to people who are similar, who have similar interests, who are same big as we are even. And so when you work with a kid, you would better sit near him. You would probably bind. You would start speaking on his level. Sometimes you would allow him to call you not officially, but by name. But it also depends. So try to be like kids when you're with kids. The important part of the lesson and how we educate kids would be the punishment. For sure, no one likes to be punished. And when we do mistakes, it often happens, we think we would like it would be someone else who did the mistake. Sometimes kids would even imagine that it wasn't the kid who did it, but it was someone else. It was on one of the lessons in one groups, we had a stand of a guy. Actually, it's another speaker who decided to bring his stand for the conference. And then it was left in our company. So we used this stand as someone who will do all the bad stuff which can happen with a kid. Like when kid comes and he is late, not the kid is punished, not he is blamed for being late, but this stand, this cartoon guy, it says that please don't be late the next time. And it's funny to the kid. He is not feeling the pain on himself, but he realizes that something went wrong and he probably would have to be better next time. So that's what you would usually do also when kids are not tidy, when they behave badly, and just speak as if it was someone else. And regarding the place where you can have the lesson, try to make it special also. Sometimes you can go on the carpet and sit on the not chairs but something else, on the pillows. Sometimes you could try to conduct part of the lesson outside, and you would explain the theory and maybe play some games which would help to understand the theory outside. But then when kids have understood the main idea, you would come back to the class and do the programming. It's very important to show the information in different ways. Like, we all have several sensors, which is visual, audio, and when we touch something. So try to give the information in all these different ways. Especially the younger the kid, the more visual ways he accepts. So try to show it with pictures. And regarding the games, you could explain the algorithms, explain how machines work by some games like passing the labyrinth with the eyes being tied, and all the group of the kids would be responsible for telling some move. For example, take your leg up and put it down. And when every kid would have this assigned movement, and one kid with the tied eyes will be moving with this movement, so you will explain how the machine works, how the programming works. Then it's also nice when you have a tradition. For example, when kid comes to the lesson, he would make special movements to greet the teacher, to greet his friends. Like a standard movement would be everyone would put their hands on each other. And also you can have a tradition when someone succeeds. Like you could stand up and bind, or when someone has finished his action, he could just lift his hands up. And everyone, for example, it will be also some physical education, but in general it would be like a tradition. And also, if you want to have a special lesson, you could come up with a theme. It could be a movie which will make the lesson special. Kids will understand that they will have to put on some special clothes. Also, a teacher would have it on, and the lesson would look like a play, but it will actually tell the programming, and so it will be at the same time memorable and knowledgeable. That's what we did with the smaller groups of the kids. And all in all, what we have to remember is it doesn't matter how good kids studies in the school, he approaches to knowledge. That's what we have by design. And when there is some problem with kid, generally it's the teacher who cannot make him interested. And so I will tell also about the general specifics of how kids behave, and then I will tell about the exact lessons which we had and which were successful. So with age, kids get better in focusing his attention. He starts being willing to share his knowledge. He starts having his opinion, which he wants to be counted, and he wants to become as adult. So what you would have to do is to give him a chance to have his decisions. Kids still love playing games. They have their muscles being developed, and you have to encourage to do that on the breaks between the lessons. And when kid wants to be good in something, give him a chance. Not help him too much, because then he won't feel that the decision, that the program belongs to him. Try to give him a chance to achieve the goals which he puts for himself. And also, kids try to imagine who they want to be. When the kids are little, it will be through role-play games, through actor playing. When kids get older, they try to insist on their ideas and stay themselves as someone special. So it would be really nice if you would try to show in which sense kid is very good. When it comes to the 8 and 9 years old kids, they are very happy to solve different tasks. Better when you give them the pictures, and they will have to analyze and adapt the abilities of reading and etc. To the task. Play the actor games, and what is very important is they need to change the state more often than the older kids. It might be every 20 minutes. If you don't know what to do with the kid every 20 minutes, how to make them active and passive, you can try to make exercises that will concentrate the attention. That is usually playing with the fingers, with 2 hands. There are many exercises. You can watch that on the internet. And so now I'll tell which games we played. The simple tasks which you can do with the kid is with this robot. Actually, why the robot is because by seeing how it moves, how it reacts, we see what the programming can do. So it becomes living thing. It's playing with robot is much more important for the little kids rather than for the old ones. So the standard things what you would be able to do with the robot would be movements and sound. We had a play that there was a pirate and there was an enchantress. Enchantress came to the kids and she gave them the robot. She taught them how to play it, and the kids would, when they started doing that, they would have to do the tasks. They would have to program by themselves. So then the pirate came and took the robot while kids were sleeping, while they were away. And then when kids came to get this robot, the pirate told them to do the tasks. And one of the tasks which we had was to make the robot come and run around the pirate with barking, because pirate had a dog and now he needs someone loyal. So you would put the standard task of the programming, which would include cycles and which will teach to do variables probably and lots of other stuff, into an idea which will be attractive to the kids. The other task which we had is to understand how the sensors of the robot would work. And that the robot has the event of being falling and of being moving, of being collided with something. So we would also do some exercises on that. And the other thing is robot and light. You can come up with anything, like we had the moon which was moving here and there, which calmed the pirate down. And when the pirate was calm, kids took the robot away and ran with it. So this is a little piece of how it was working. Sorry. No sound, but kids get very attached to it. Someone will program, like several kids would program on the phone, and someone will watch it, and when the pirate shows that he's inspired, that's what kids love. They want to be appreciated. So, what made this lesson successful was the attractive idea, because this group of the kids was speaking about the pirates all the time. And, sorry. Then the tasks which we had for the programming were not just simple tasks. This is a cycle, and this is what you have to do to have it, to have the message shown 10 times. We had an interesting theme. Then we changed the states of calmness. When kids were programming, they were calm, they were sitting, they were concentrated. But at the same time, they had a chance to be on their knees, to play around. If they cannot wait any longer, some kids could go and do something, jump, for example, and others would stay concentrated. And also, the story which we had, it was actually teaching to good, because in the end, kids decided to leave some candies to the pirate, which they also took from him. And in this age, kids would really need to be taught what is good and what is bad. The other game which we had, and in which I will ask you to participate, is the Harry Potter game. What we had, I'll tell it first, is at the entrance we had the people who would give the tickets to Hogwarts. And that was already charming, because the tickets were big and kids didn't expect it. Then the kids would have to go to the room where they didn't attend before. That was the room with the carpet, and before they were just sitting at the computers. There they met the enchantress with the hat, who would give them the robot, who would determine if the kid should go to Slytherin or to Gryffindor. That's what we will do soon. And then we had when the kids got the understanding how to work with the robot, they had to be given the tasks. Because there were two teams, one team would come up with a task for the other team, and the next team, when the task is done, would give the other task based on the tasks they had. So all in all, we will have big program. And when the tournament is over, for sure, kids got the candies. And we decided to make a Quidditch Cup. Kids would have to write one big program, which would contain out of some, let's say, commits of every person. And for sure, teachers would control it and advise how it's done. But altogether, this should be a very bright game, which kids will like. And that's what we played. So the game which we had was like hot potatoes, but not exactly. The ball would fly, and when someone catches it, the sensor data understands that the hands got the robot, and it will shine either with green or with red and will tremble. So kids would either stay in the game if they got the green, or leave the game if the ball got red. And you never know what you will get. And that was funny, and kids loved staying after the lesson just to play the game. Someone liked just playing, and someone wanted to feel the trembling of the ball because they liked the feeling. And now let's have some 4 people out of all of you who will try to program the robot, the BB-8, and we'll understand how it works, and we all will see. So I need the volunteers. Come to the stage. 4 people. Someone else. I saw 3 hands. Yeah, great. So we will need a phone, because the robot contacts with the Bluetooth. I have one phone, and we will switch it, or at least I had it. I hope I still have it. Yes. which is good. So the program which we will be using is called Spheroid. I will show it on the big screen soon. And so here you are. You have to start the new project. And wait 1 second. We will also be divided onto the teams. And no, wait. Robot knows better what you are to be. Harry Potter Slytherin. Yeah, that's right. So it's the Bluetooth which will connect us to the robot. We had to choose a Spheroid, but actually the BB-8 is a kind of expensive robot. There is less expensive, but which does the same stuff. That will be a simple Sphere robot. We don't need the head. Now try to shake it. He's Gryffindor. Ah, that's what you dreamed of. Gryffindor. Wow, we get it even. Yeah, that's randomized actually, which is good. Thing is that randomizer doesn't always work as expected. And what we were doing with the kids to make it fun, when the teams were not even, is we proposed to use the spells. Someone could ask the other teammate to go to the other team to make it even. And also we had the spells for the other activities, like if someone would need help and just to switch the task, we would also have the spells. And now I will ask you who likes the cars in here. Does anyone like cars? Yes, there are some people. That is good. And what we will do with the robot is we'll make the car, because the car is a big toy for the big kids. Here you are. So you're the first, so we'll start from you. What we'll have to do is to create the new program. And here are the blocks which you will have to move. Here you will find the blocks and you will have to pull them. To pull, whatever, it's just the example. So the standard car would normally have the color. So what we will do now is every team will do a part of the task. And one team will set the color to the car, and the other team will continue it, so that in the end we will finish up with the robot who acts like a car. And so you both are supposed to work together.
I have quit.
Quit. Okay, so that's yours. Yeah, delete it. And what you are to do is you are supposed to set up the color. And we all together will also do that. Oh. That's the program which was written. Now let's create the new one. There is an application in which you could do that on the computer, and the code which you do here will be synchronized with the phone. This is in case you are more comfortable to work with the computer. If you have the Google operating system, you would also be able to connect to the robot using your computer, but it's not possible yet. So there are several versions what we could do with a robot. One would be simple drawing, which we are not that interested in. The other one would be making the program with blocks. And the third option would be writing the code in JavaScript. So let's start with the blocks. And what they would have to do is they would have to go on the lights and sounds tab, and they would have to pull the main LED, because this is what is the robot shining is. And they will have to set up the color which they prefer. I prefer the red color. So my car will be red. Also, so you did it. So your car is red, right? Oh, it's green and then red.
Something strode. Ja, das pink.
Okay, so yeah, you're done. Let's give you 1 point. I'm not sure why you have three stuff instead of one, but okay. Now you give the phone to the other team, and we get the other task, which is moving. We would have to have our car moving. So you have to find the movement tab and choose whatever you like. There is roll, stop, speed, heading, spin, row motor. Motor is just the robot will be working. It might help you. Stabilization you probably won't need now. It's you would have to use stabilization to understand how fast or how if the robot is moving by itself, because in general case the robot will try to stabilize itself, but if you would like the robot to react when it's caught in the hands, you would have to move the stabilization. So what are your results? Let's put the robot here. Okay, it moves. Congratulations. I wonder why the color is green. It seemed it was red.
No, it was blinking red, but it was green.
Okay. Good.
I don't know what direction it was originally.
So there are several methods to make him move. One of them would be to set up the speed, which would be not 0, and to put the heading where it would be heading. The other method would be to roll for some seconds, which I would prefer to leave. Heading doesn't matter much. Speed, some not 0 speed, and rolling, let's say 3 seconds. And so the other stuff we will remove. So now what we will need is to make the sounds, because the car always makes the sounds. It actually what saves people from the car accidents. Like, you know, the problem with the electric cars is that they don't make sound and people don't really hear that they are coming. So what we would have to do for the sound would be, again, lights and sounds. Then it will be to pull this sound here and to pick it. We would have to start the car, the sound of starting. That is mechanical, that's right. And starting motor. Yes, engine start. Where is it? Here it is. Yes. So that's what they are supposed to do. What are your results? Oh. Yes. Yes. Forget about them.
Okay.
Yes, so try. Let's check that it still moves and it makes the sound. Did it make the sound?
It didn't stop moving yet.
Okay, so it will stop moving. Good. Let's make it the other try. So probably what they did is they just have put this element lower. And what I have is moving for several seconds, but they will have moving for eternity. That was the other sound. What you have to do is to put the sound in front of the moving so that the engine will start. Okay. Now all the teams working. Good. Now I see it's working. Okay. So give it to the other team. Let the other team try to work with the sounds. And I would like to have the sound of moving while the robot will be moving. So it won't be waiting when the sound is done, but it will be continuation. So it's again sound, and it will be also in front of, pick whatever you want, then we will see what you have. Yes. Okay, so engine drive by. Did it make the sound at first and then start moving?
Yeah. We can try again.
Let's try again. Okay, now it's good. Yeah, so the main thing is that they have put the continue while having it. And also I would like you to try the variables, which is actually already the advanced stuff for the little kids. What you would have to do is to, like in my car, I would have 2 buttons. Depending on which person comes, the seat will move either in front or to the back, whatever. So I would like to have these 2 buttons, but it will determine the color of the robot. So if the lady would come, it would be, let's say, red. And if the husband would come, it will be blue. Or whatever. Pick any colors you like and pick any names which you want. So what they would have to do is to create a variable. That would be add new. Let's make it number because button would be the number. Let's name it color button. Have it set to 1, but actually what we would have to do is before having the application start, we would have to set something because this is the value which is input outside. So it's normal to have it input. Then there are the controls. Here we would have the if then or if then else block. I would like to use the if then else. And in case it's 1, then it will be red. So I would have to set my variable to some number, which will be 1. And here I would pick 1 instead of the 0. And I will go to the variables and pull my variable in here. So that will be setting of the variable. Now let's write the logic. And for that we will need the comparator stub. So in case the equality, when our variable is equal to 1, then we will have the red color. And let's also have the blue color. Yes. And in case it's not 1, then it will be the other color. So my program is written. What about yours? By the way, this task is very complicated, so the two teams would have to combine because I wanted to divide it into two parts.
So you guys write an if, we write an else.
Yes, sounds good. Yes, so while they are writing, do you need to see the code? Okay.
Some heavy pair programming.
So actually, pulling these blocks is the kind of simple task. And what I have heard in one of the talks 2 days ago is that our kids will learn this visual programming, and probably they will make the future programming being visual. Because currently we would have to write the text and see the text, which is not that comprehensible as seeing some blocks. And what else can be done, which I would usually do for the older kids, is having not blocks being pulled, but having the program in the form of the JavaScript code. What I did for... Okay, I'll tell it later. Let's check what they have for the robot. Started. No, not yet.
We can take it from here.
I need to get presents for them because that's real hard work. Yes, so what I would normally do for the older kids would be to have the list of the functions which we would need to use in our program. And we will analyze with the kids which parameters the function would need, if they will be asynchronous, and if they are blocking and unblocking. And when it's done, we will write the program together on the board. Then every kid would have on his phone implement this program, and it will be already writing the code, which is actually more advanced than just pulling the blocks. And kid will understand how it works by having the robot, which will show his results. Do you need any help from me? No, no help? Okay. They are very stubborn. Okay, so let's move together a little bit further. That's how our program would look like. So even not kids get interested, which is good. There is a site on which you can take the ideas what to do with a robot. For example, another thing which we did with the kids was the Magic 8 Ball. A kid would have to come up with his answers. You know that standards would be yes, no, but some kids would write that only Yoda knows, or they would joke about any subjects. And again, what is the most fun part is when you can play your game. And that would be to test if the kid will get a kitten on the nearest birthday. Because one girl was really excited about having a kitten, and she was shaking the ball until she got yes. And all the 3 times she got no, but on the 4th time she got yes. And in that case, her mom, who was standing nearby, she already said that no, you won't get the kitten. And the other guy, who was also programming this Magic 8 Ball, he would go for the programming Olympiad, and he got yes from the first time, and he got very inspired just to go on this Olympiad. So, 1 second. You have to set it to something, set number.
Yes, this is set, but how to place it here?
You would have to, you don't have the condition. You need to pull the condition first. controls, no, operations, oh, comparators. And then you will have to pull equal here, and you will have the place to put the variable and to what it should be compared. So on this site, there are several projects, like you can make the echo project with the kids. And yeah. And actually what you have to admit is every lesson won't be successful. You plan it to have somehow, but generally kids would destroy it because they have their opinion. They actually decide how the lesson will flow. So what we had is that the kids, we had the guardians. Oh, sorry. Let's see how it works. Okay, the red works. Shows that the blue or something works. I wonder how much time it took us. Yes, and the blue works. Congratulations. BB-8, good job. Yes. Thank you, my volunteers. You're welcome to take some stuff. There are the magic candies, which can be either tasty or not very.
Oh.
I'm joking.
Oh, there are really candies like that. So
Yes. That's what you can use with your kids. Yes, so you can you can never expect what the lesson will turn out to be. I guess I'm running out of the time, and yes, you can go now. And I have some other material, so if you are interested, you can come and ask me. But the main idea. 1 second. Yes. The main idea is that we have to work with the kids when they got the 8 years old age. We have to make the lesson memorable and special. We have to have the idea, and that will pull the kids together and will make them happy by doing the programming. And we should take care which is the age of the kid. When these are adults, they need to show their artistic abilities. They need to show their special. When these are the little kids, they need just the active play, the colors, the pictures, and this will make them being happy, programming the robot happily. And you actually need nothing special to make the lesson very nice. Even robot is not needed. You can do it with simply having Scratch. And it's just the willing which you need to have. So thank you for listening to me. In case you would like to find me, here are my contacts. I also write the blog where you can find more information about the different ages, which is in the last point, and about the exact lessons on the 2 blogs. Thank you for your attention, and you're welcome to ask questions if you have.